Lesson 32, Geometric Series. All right, so let's do a little bit of review about geometric sequences, right? Let's make sure we know the difference between here. Geometric sequences are separated by a comma every time, right? What we're going to be getting into is geometric series now. So the only difference is that we're going to be adding them. So it's going to be what all these numbers added together equals, or what the sum of those numbers are. So let's do a little review from last time, though. Let's figure out this geometric sequence and let's find the 11th term, like what it would be. So we know that T1 is 4. We know that R is 12 divided by 4 is 3. So now we can just put that, we can make a general term from this. We have Tn is equal to 4 times 3 n minus 1. So if I wanted to figure out T11, it would be 4 times 3 to the power of 11 minus 1 is 10. So we get T11 is going to be 236,196. All right, geometric series. So now this is finding the sum of these numbers, right? So there's two formulas, but just to be clear, your formula sheet only has this one, right? The first one there. It doesn't have this one over here. If you were required to use this on like an exam or something, it would be given to you in the question, so don't worry too much about it. But I would keep note of this when you guys are doing your problems from the textbook and the assignment. Like, just keep this as well. If you want to write this on your formula sheet now, that might be a good idea. Okay, so now it's really just using this new formula, making sure we plug our numbers in properly. So it says find the sum of the 11 terms. So if this kept on going all the way up to T11. So let's write down what we know. We know T1 is 4. We know R is 3. 12 divided by 4, or 36 divided by 12. And what else do we know? We know N is 11. That's what we're looking for, right? So now just plug it in. So we've got S, and I'm going to change that to 11 right now. So S11 is going to be equal to 4 times 3 to the power of 11 minus 1 over 3 minus 1. So what I would make sure you do, though, first is inside the brackets. So either go 3 to the power of 11 minus 1 in your calculator, figure out what that number is, and then multiply it by 4 and divide by 2. Or if you're going to put in your calculator all in one step, I'll show you how I would do it. Okay, so here's what I do. I go 4, start a bracket, 3 to the power of 11, and then push over so it's not still up in the exponent, and then minus 1. Now switch to the other side of that bracket, and then go divided by. And don't just put 3 minus 1 down here now, because that might mess stuff up and might get your order of operations wrong. So what I would make sure you do is put in brackets so we know that we're dividing everything in the bottom. And then you could go 3 minus 1. Or if you were smart enough, you might just put 2. Because 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay, so then you can put it in like that. Your calculator should be able to figure out what we meant by that. And it even wrote it the right way when we were done. So there's your answer there. Okay, so that's what I got for an answer there. Okay, now if we did it with the other formula here, just because let's say we didn't know what the n value was, right? So with this one, we don't know n, right? So that's why I would use this if you didn't know that. This one is if you didn't know Tn, you didn't know what that number was at the n value. Okay, so S11 is going to be equal to, it's still 3. Well, here, let's write down what we know first. I have myself. So we know T1 is 4. We know R is 3. We don't know N this time. Let's pretend we didn't anyway. But we do know T11, right? That's the one we found up here. So T11, let's use that. So T11 was this number. Okay. And that should be everything we need. Yeah. Okay. So now Sn, or S11 is equal to 3 times T11 is that minus t1 was 4 all over 3 minus 1. And we end up with the same number. Okay, so that's just really the general idea of these geometric series instead of geometric sequences. Okay, let's do a couple more practice problems, and then you guys can have these to work on. All right. So number 1. Okay, so we are looking for S12. So I'm just going to put S12 question mark. T1 is going to be 5. R is negative a half. And the other thing we know is N, because N is going to be 12, right? So now which of these formulas are we going to want to use? That one or that one? Well, we don't know Tn, so that's the one we're going to use. This one has all the stuff we need. Okay, so let's just fill some stuff in as we go. So we're looking for S12. So that T1 was 5. R was negative a half to the power of 12. And notice I put in brackets there because since we have an even number exponent, that negative is going to go away, right? It's going to become a positive number. So make sure that that negative gets put in the brackets as well. So minus a half, or sorry, minus 1, all over 3 minus, all right, 3 minus 1. Whoop, not 3. I was thinking of the last question. R was negative a half. Okay, so if we simplify this a bit, we've got S12 is going to be equal to 5. And I'm just going to put this part in my calculator now. So let's go in brackets, negative. Now you can go negative 1 over 2, or you can go negative 0.5. Same thing. And then jump to the other side of the bracket, and then go to the power of, so a little hat, the power of 12. And then push the down arrow, and then, or the over arrow, I mean, and then minus 1. Okay, so it gave us a fraction there. Okay, yeah, so notice that we got this for an answer, right, a fraction. If you wanted to, you could put that in as a decimal. You can go just control and then enter again, and it's going to give it to you as a decimal. So let's do that. I'm just kind of doing a few different ways here. So we'd have negative 0.999756 all over. This would be negative 3 over 2, right, as a fraction. So now what I would do, now that I have this like in my calculator, right, I would just go, if you just go multiply now, it's going to go multiply by 5. So it just went answer that I had in there, multiply by 5. And push enter. And then I would just go divided by, and then just to make sure I do everything right, I go divided by, and then start a bracket, and then go negative 3 over 2, or 3 divided by 2. And then enter. And you can even see it even did it properly. It shows you're there, right? Okay, so you get an answer of, 3.33252. Now, if you wanted that as a fraction, kind of ignore everything I did here. I just did a little bit different while it was paused there. But if you want to get this back to a fraction, I just want to show you how you do that. So you have tools in here. If you go to menu. Okay, yeah, so when you're in here, go to, so menu and then now number. And you see you got a couple of different ones here. We can go approximate to decimal or approximate to fraction. So we can go approximate to fraction. And this is just this 5 times 10 to the negative 14. That's just saying how close it is. That's all that's telling us. That's not a perfect fraction, but if you push enter, that's what you end up getting as a fraction. Okay, so that's what you end up for an answer. Depending on what the answer, like the multiple choice, looked like, it could be written like this, or it could be written as a decimal. So I just wanted to show you both ways of being able to switch from one to the other. Okay, and I'm actually going to let you guys do 2 and 3 on your own. And then for homework, this is what our assignment is going to be. So I'm going to end that video there. Hopefully you guys are doing all right with this.